Friendship is supposed to feel safe, supportive, and grounding. So, why is it that sometimes instead of feeling excited about a new friendship, you feel, well, anxious? Your phone is constantly buzzing. There's pressure to check in, to call, to explain. And if you don't respond right away, it somehow turns into a conversation because it's just friendship, right? Today, we're talking about platonic love bombing, when intense, non romantic affection shows up fast and heavy. And instead of feeling nourishing, it feels overwhelming. And as I was writing this episode, I realized I've actually experienced this, which is actually quite like mind boggling because damn, girl, like you actually went through this and I didn't know the term for it, but that's fine. But let's get into the episode. We usually hear about love bombing in romantic relationships, but it doesn't require romance. Platonic love bombing is about intensity without pacing. It's when emotional closeness is rushed, expectations aren't spoken but still enforced, and you slowly become responsible for someone else's emotional regulation. It often sounds like love. It often looks like care, but it bypasses consent. Platonic love bombing can look like constant calls or texts, expecting immediate replies, oversharing deep personal stories early on, being framed as someone's safe person very quickly, subtle pressure to prioritize them above everyone else. And sometimes the pressure isn't loud, it's just emotional. I'm going to share a story time of, like I mentioned prior, I've experienced this, so I thought to just share my personal experience. I once had a friendship that slowly stopped feeling like a connection. It started feeling like a responsibility. Sorry, if I didn't call, or she'll say things like, "I'm not used to this. I have routine, and when people break routine, they leave." So she'll tell me that everyone who had routine in her life was gone now, that they were dead or no longer around. And when I didn't show up the same way, it felt like she was saying I was going to leave. I kept reassuring her. I kept saying, I never said I was going to leave, but somehow that reassurance was never enough. At one point, I even asked, what do you want me to do so you can feel okay? And that's when I realized something wasn't right because I was trying to adjust my behavior to manage someone else's emotional safety. And if I didn't pick up the phone, it turned into, oh, so you don't want to talk to me no more. And sometimes I just needed space because at that time I was going through mental tribulation. Like it just wasn't that friendship. I was also talking to someone that was toying with my head. So this was too much. And then, when someone's asking for constant reassurance and you're basically down bad, it just felt like I'm exhausted. Like I genuinely felt so tired. I was physically exhausted. I even mentioned to her like I'm going through a lot right now, like I need my space. And to like now when I think back at it, at the time it's like, damn, like could I really say you was considerate of my feelings? Because it's like, fuck your feelings, Sharon. Like it's my way or the highway, which I really didn't appreciate. There were even moments where she would ask questions like, do you think you're closer to me than you are to your sister? And that kind of comparison does something to you. Not gonna lie, I really didn't like that question. It's like, girl, like that's my twin. Like, by the way, if I haven't mentioned, I'm a twin. So, me and my sister were quite close. So I just feel like no one can really take her place. Not even really, no one can take her place. So to me, it was a question that kind of like, girl, what you trying to do right now? Like, my sister comes before anything else, you know. Also she would like, so at my lunch times I speak to my sister. Usually it would be her sometimes, but I guess like I said, me and my sister's relationship is getting better, so I enjoy talking to my sister. So I know low key deep down she felt a way about it, so I would call her after work. So for me it's like I'm trying to balance my time and you're not making it easy because you're trying to talk to me every hour of the day. So it became too, what is the word, where's the word? Controlling. That's the word. I hate to use that word, but that's how I felt. I just didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like myself. It felt like I had to kind of walk on eggshells just to make sure I don't upset her. Like, it just, no, I didn't like it. It, I just, it was too much pressure for me. And it was just too much pressure. The hardest part is that nothing about this looks abusive on the surface. There's no yelling, no obvious manipulation, just someone who's hurting and leaning on you heavily. So when you feel overwhelmed, you question yourself. You think, maybe I'm emotionally unavailable. Maybe I'm bad at closeness. Maybe I should be more understanding. But here's the truth. Your nervous system knows when something isn't balanced. Feeling anxious, drained, or guilty for needing space isn't a flaw, it's information. Often, this behavior comes from fear of abandonment, loss, or unresolved grief, anxious attachment, a lack of emotional support elsewhere. And I want to be clear, you can emphasize with someone's pain without becoming responsible for fixing it. Neediness is not intimacy, and guilt is not closeness. A healthy friendship, and I want you guys to deep what I'm saying, because I feel like a lot of people may be in similar situations. Like, they might be actually in this, like, they don't know it's love bombing. They just think, my friend is like, she needs the support. Like, nah, call it out for what it is. Like, we need to be stronger than that. This is your only life. You can't dedicate it to solely one person and forget yourself. So I want you guys to take in what a healthy friendship should look like. So I'm going to name a few for you. So, healthy friendship grows over time, respect space, don't require constant reassurance, allow multiple close relationships to coexist. Emotional dependency often looks like urgency, comparison, guilt when boundaries appear, withdrawal, or hurt when you don't comply. If closeness disappears the moment you need space, that connection was conditional. Platonic love doesn't need to overwhelm you to be real. You're allowed to want friendships that feel mutual, spacious, and safe. And if something feels like too much, that doesn't mean you're cold. It means that you're listening to yourself. And I just also wanted to add as well, because I feel like just doing research on this topic, it really doesn't sit well with me that a lot of people don't know when to, let me rephrase that. A lot of people don't know, they're not self-aware. Okay, they don't take accountability, or they don't acknowledge when they're doing too much. They don't study themselves, and a lot of people like to point the finger at their friend and be like, well, you're not doing this for me, well, you're not doing that for me, well, you're not doing this for me. And I don't like when people genuinely make other people feel bad, and they start to question, well, am I a bad friend, or am I this, or am I that, or am I this? And that's how I genuinely felt. Like, I'm like, surely not. Because I've had, and I know I've mentioned this in quite a few episodes, and I'm never going to stop talking about friendships, because I know there's people like me that's been going through ups and downs. They go on a roller coaster of friendships, and I want to break down different behaviors that need to be addressed in certain friendships, so you can look out for it and you can make sure that you're in a healthy friendship, not one that is transactional, one that is 50-50, one that genuinely, there's genuine love there, there's no pressure, there's a good amount of reassurance, support, love, and as I get older, I need to stop saying that, but as I get older, like, I think I made the right decision for myself to not continue the friendship, or the way the friendship is now. I wouldn't really say there's a friendship, because just the experience that I mentioned to you, it was after that we had a bit of an issue and stopped talking for 3 months, and it took me to reach out. I think I was going through a wave of emotions that day, to the point where I thought, you know what, maybe I need to reach out and have a conversation. Maybe it'll make me feel good. Now I sit here and I'm like, I wish I never did that, because that friendship was not healthy. Regardless, yes, I can consider that person was, they got personal issues, or they're grieving, or they're, for me, I've never been through grief before, so I don't know. I don't know how it feels like. So yeah, like, it was a lot for me, and I'm proud of myself that I've got myself here to this point where I'm just like, I can't be like, I'm never gonna overcompensate in a friendship. Like, I can't overcompensate and make myself sad, or be drained for what. Like, if they were a good friend, they would know how to communicate, or there would be healthy boundaries in the friendship, rather than just me just like addressing it, like calling it out for what it is. Why can't people just actually take accountability, or acknowledge when they're putting way too much pressure on people? That person never acknowledged when they were putting a lot of pressure on me. So yeah, when I think back, it's just like, I don't miss it at all. Like, I'm good solo dolo. But I just thought to share that. I want you guys to look after yourself. I want you guys to make sure that you're in something that's healthy, and make sure you are a priority in your own life as well. Not just, yeah, friendships are cool and all, but make sure you're not overcompensating, or you're not putting them above yourself. Like, you matter too. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this short episode. Please make sure to share, follow, rate the podcast, and I will see you next week. Bye.